this is an easy recipe with 3 ingredients: 1 liter vinegar, 1/4 cup salt, 2 tablespoons of dish soap. So just 3 ingredients. I tend to use Dawn soap. It works well, and I've used it for years. The equipment you'll need are a pump sprayer, whatever size you want, or a spray bottle. So there you see the different sizes that I use. When I do a bigger batch, I use a 2-gallon pump sprayer. Smaller batches, I use a spray bottle or a small pump sprayer. So I'll start with a small pump sprayer. This will make a 1 liter batch. So you can scale up or down from this recipe list. So we'll take the attachment out there, the pump part out, and you have to have a dry funnel when you're adding the salt or it'll stick. So I used fine sea salt. You can use table salt. Do not use Epsom salt. The next ingredient is 1 liter of white vinegar with 5% acetic acid. You can use pickling vinegar, but you don't need to. This works just as well. So this is 1 liter or 34 ounces. You'll see I add a bit of light here just to show me where I am on the bottle, because it's kind of hard to see where the level is, but it has demarcations on the side. So I add 1 liter. The next ingredient is the Dawn dish soap. This brand tends to work the best for me. I've tried others, but this one is very effective. So we'll add 2 full tablespoons of dish soap. Again, you can scale up or scale down from this recipe. The next bit of the video, I will show you how to scale it up to the larger pump sprayer. Okay, so we've added our 3 ingredients. We're going to put the pump sprayer attachment and cylinder back in place, and make sure you have it screwed on tight, because the next step is to shake it up really well. And you do want to shake it for at least a minute, depending on the size of your pump sprayer or spray bottle. Make sure that salt is dissolved fully. I did for at least a minute there. And you add some pressure to the pump bottle. What you're doing here is to make sure that there is no leaks. And I always grab a little bucket, or you can spray into a sink, and just to make sure you have good flow. Again, it's important to shake it well to make sure that salt is fully dissolved. So here, the next step is to show you the larger pump sprayer, and you can see on the left hand side is the 4 liter mark, and on the right hand side is the gallons mark. So it's just over a gallon and 4 liters. There you saw the salt. So I've scaled up the recipe. You're going to add 1 full cup of sea salt or table salt. So normally you would add a 1/4 cup for a 1 liter recipe, but this is 4 liters, so we're going to times it by 4. Okay, so you might have some chunks in your salt. The finer the salt, it's going to go through the funnel easier. I have a little bit of a jam here, so I'm just going to shake it up really well, and it's going to fall through. Again, it's important to make sure your funnel is completely dry. If you've used any liquid in it, make sure it's dry for the next step, or else it'll jam up on you and get stuck, so it's not fun. Okay, so here I have 4 liters of white vinegar. I'm going to add the container to the pump sprayer. So it's already pre-measured, obviously, in that container is 4 liters worth, so we're going to add all that to the pump sprayer. You don't really need to use pickling salt or a stronger vinegar. The 5% acetic acid works very well. And I always wait till they're on sale too. I buy the 4 liter jug for whatever, 99 cents. So this works out to be a very cost-efficient weed killer as well. Fairly environmentally friendly. I mean, the Dawn soap is really the only chemical part of this, with salt and vinegar. You're not using, the Roundups or some harsh chemical. Okay, so here you see it's just over 4 liters with the salt and the soap, and just over a gallon. So we're going to get started and spray some of our, you can see our first victim here. So give it a good soak, just a quick spray. This is an example of in concrete, when you, especially in the summertime. This is early spring, but we start to see the weeds come in. So Again, give it a good soak. You don't need a lot, just enough to make sure it drinks in that solution. So here you see another one in a crack, and again, give it a good soak. And along some boulders here, there's some grass that's kind of gone errant. So just go ahead and spray that, give it a good soak. It's much easier than having to pull this or whipper snip. So every week or 2 weeks I just go through and give things a spray and don't have to worry about it. Again, this is early spring, so we're just starting to see the weeds pop up. So you have chickweed, thistle, crabgrass, plantain. Those are the common ones in my area. The further you get into the early part of summer, they really can grow quite fast, so you want to stay on top of them. So just give a shot to kind of the center of the plant. Don't worry about getting all the leaves. Just give it shots down the center so it goes to the root or the tap root. And you'll see within days it will wilt, and then it will turn brown and get crispy and then just dry it up. Now this is the tricky part with crabgrass. I don't always do this because you kind of kill the grass around it, but you have to be very accurate and hit the very center. But generally I just use a crabgrass remover tool just to remove the plug of soil in the crabgrass. But you could spray it like this. Just realize that your grass is susceptible to turning brown around it, so you have to be very accurate. Okay, here's an example on the side of the house of some weeds that I've started. Give it a good soak. Again, don't worry about hitting the top part of the plant. You're worried about having it saturate into the root system. Okay, so this is goutweed. It's very hard to get rid of. Even with this solution, it's not always effective, but you can see I did some spot spraying and now I'm doing a mist. It'll generally make it turn brown. It may not kill it completely, but it will control the growth of it. So if you have a lot of goutweed and it's just growing out of control, this will slow it down at least, if not kill it. So here you see the little pump sprayer. It's good for smaller areas too. And once in a while I'll just go along, and if I see something popping up, I just give it a shot. So this is also effective on any moss or green that's growing on your your concrete anywhere or along your fence. Spray that on, and with a few days it'll go away. Okay, so just continue to spray. So generally it's going to take anywhere from a day or two to a week or even longer, depending on how strong the weed is, because there's some weeds that take longer to die. But this is the next morning, so you can see in less than 24 hours it's already starting to die off. So you have to use pure vinegar, do not add water. And again, give each weed a good soak. And here you can see along the side of a house, there's the weed the day after, the morning after, and you can already see it starting to wilt. So it's not going to continue to grow, it's going to die off and turn brown and shrivel up. You don't have to remove them unless you want to. They'll just turn brown and eventually just go away. So here's the one in the crack that I showed you earlier. It's already turned brown. So again, depending on the type of weed, this is the grass that I was showing you around the boulders. You can see the next day it's already half dead basically. You spray the base of it so it gets dead from the base, and then it goes from there. So yeah, goutweed's the hardest one to control. But thanks for watching, everyone. I appreciate it. And subscribe, and I'll send you more videos. Thanks very much, everyone.